Greetings everyone, thanks for joining us in rainy New York. So I wanted to do a brief show today, and it's called the Elon 90-Day Rule Violation. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. If you enjoy the show, would like some better ideas on investing and trading, please join us on Patreon. So I had a long conversation. We're on our usual structure today, first 4 or 5 minutes, what this is, and then the implications. I just wanted to note that Elon has a process that he's had going for like the last 7 to 8 years. And that is about every 90 days, something happens. You know, the 420 rule where he's trying to buy the company, for example, was one of many sort of 90-day laters. We got a change in that process about a year and a half ago when he bought Twitter. All of a sudden, the magnitude of what it took to deal with Twitter made it difficult for him to do his usual 90-day rule because the amount of work related to keeping Tesla and other businesses going and then adding Twitter changed the 90-day rule schedule. So I wanted to bring this up today because I was having a conversation with one of my trading buddies, and he asked the question, if you put up $1,000 to stay hedged on Tesla, that would have been $1 million gain in 5 hours once the Trump situation jumped off. So I wanted to point this out today before I get completely drenched, that now that the businesses that Elon controls have been stabilized to some extent, it's almost like Elon will find a new 90-day rule battle or activity that he can enjoy. And it looks to me like, in this case, there's not much that one could do with Mr. Trump except for introduce something that will enable him or cause him to get really angry and therefore come after Tesla. But there's a flip side to this. I almost have to call it the Puffy Combs phenomenon. The flip side is that what's been happening in Congress, etc., is exactly what's going on with Puffy Combs currently, which is that there are a large number of people that are very fearful of Mr. Combs, and as soon as one person stood up to him, you then found that there are others who might join you in the battle, and therefore it incentivizes a larger group of people to perhaps develop what they want to do. So getting back to our 90-day rule, yes, I believe that, Elon is in a battle that he thinks it's worthwhile to do. Seems kind of strange. However, it could be beneficial in terms of having a lot of other people, toughening up and responding to stuff that's perhaps not in the best interest of the United States. That's part of the plan that he has going. So, let's keep an eye on this, but bigger than that, I wanted to note that the big issue is that Elon is somewhat unpredictable, but the 90-day rule is generally been the case over the last 5 years or so. So we just went through the latest round of the 90-day rule in terms of what he's currently doing. About, late September, beginning of October is when we should expect the next round of this. But regardless of what that is, you have to always expect him to perhaps do stuff that you didn't expect, and it tends to happen on a certain cycle. Now, with all the ketamine, et cetera, that's been going on, one wonders, well, what if that could be a impacting variable as well? Quite possible. But I wouldn't say it's boredom necessarily. He just enjoys work and enjoys new things and enjoys trying new things, and therefore we ended up with the 90-day rule, but it really emphasizes the point that staying hedged if you own a long position, or reading through Taleb's book is not a bad idea, because that might give you some understanding of how to apply the Black Swan rule to your investing / trading. For those of you who are investors who do or don't hedge, I think you'll be fine because you're operating on a 6-month, year, 2-year time horizon. When the stock doubles or rises 25 or drops 25% in one day, it just prompts, even if you're an investor, to make an effort to do some hedging with options because there's this unpredictability to it. So the goal of this general discussion was really to highlight the fact that Elon loves to be busy, loves to work on a lot of projects at the same time. And in this case, we're starting to see the 90-day rule again because his latest activity isn't the magnitude of buying X. So therefore, he has an opportunity right now to have some free mind space to get into more things. So if you don't give certain energetic and active people something to do with that energy and time, they will find something to do with it, which is kind of what the Elon story is. Just a final note on this piece is just the fact that we've seen Elon do a lot of different things, some creative that worked, some creative that didn't work. But now that we have the robotaxi coming in, I think he'll be occupied for the next month or two with this rollout. But I expect our next round of unpredictability to come in end of August, beginning of September, once that rollout is stabilized. So we definitely look forward to your comments on this. Be aware of the 90-day rule. Stay hedged because there's nothing large that consumes his free mental energy space completely. So therefore, this lends itself to huge amounts of activities that were unexpected, and that all of a sudden change the entire narrative on what's going on with Tesla stock and how the company might do currently and going forward. So I thought having the semi-mass production, robotaxi hitting the streets, there's a lot of things happening there, but a lot of stuff is kind of boring. I mean, even the departure recently of the head of the robot entity didn't seem to shake him up at all because they have a very deep bench of some really bright people. And instead of people leaving, I'm told it's the opposite. There are so many great people that are coming on a regular basis that there's just not enough ways for great people to ventilate their capabilities. So as a result, you have kind of a log jam of great minds. And so the process is typically pushing out one great mind, replacing it with another. And that constant change definitely brings in new blood. You lose some experience, but you may gain some new management process that yields some attractive outcomes. So, at any rate, I want to just run this by you briefly. I think that your investing and trading will be a lot better if you're mindful of the Elon Musk 90-day rule, because I really think it's back because he doesn't have, he has a 5 to 10% mindshare reservation for something new, and we have no idea what that's going to be. In this case, it might be the Trump war, but it's a good idea to expect it because it encourages you to be organized relative to hedging or possibly applying the Black Swan process to actually make some really good money. Don't forget your 25 leg lifts. Wanted to also encourage you to think about a hydrogen peroxide once a week, 1 to 10 water to hydrogen peroxide mixture for better oral hygiene as well would be an added tip for today. Once again, thanks for joining us. Tschüss, auf Weile, Hitro, Hoda, Hafez, Drafti, Ni Homa, Arrivederci. And in Jamaica, we see enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us. Namaste.